Have y'all seen? There's a story that came out. This one to me was crazy. Some people said like they knew this already. They knew this was happening already. I didn't know. Look at this. I did not. I had no idea. North Korean IT workers game U.S. companies hiring practice. Now, pretty much what they're saying is they're scamming, right? North Korean IT workers are posing as American workers or as Americans to score coveted remote jobs and use the salaries to pay for their country's missile program. Like what? Like just think, like what? They're taking remote jobs from Americans because they're posing as Americans, taking remote jobs and taking the money and using it for missiles for their country of North Korea. Is that not crazy to anybody but me? That has to be crazy to everybody, because what would make them do something like that? Well, probably because American companies are so thirsty to hire people internationally that they really are not vetting them. They just know we're going to pay them a couple pennies less than Americans, and we don't care where they live at. That's all they care about. This says why it matters. Remote hiring practices have made it dangerously easy for North Korean IT workers to dupe hiring managers who historically had relied on in-person interviews to detect imposters. That's not why they use in-person interviews. They didn't care about detected imposters. That's why they don't care about it now. These issues could be exacerbated as AI technologies get better at creating more realistic deepfake video and audio. Driving the news. Federal prosecutors charged an Arizona woman and 4 other people last week with facilitating an elaborate North Korean-linked scheme to help their IT workers pose as U.S. citizens and secure remote tech jobs. Workers landed jobs at more than 300 U.S. companies, including an aerospace manufacturer, U.S. automaker, a Silicon Valley tech company, and other Fortune 500 companies. As part of this specific scam, North Koreans used the identities of more than 60 U.S. people in their job applications and relied on VPNs to disguise their computer's actual location. The workers are linked to the regime's munitions industry department, which oversees its ballistic missiles and weapons production programs. In total, the specific scheme generated at least $6.8 million in revenue, which in military terms is not that much money. Like $6.8 million is almost pretty much nothing in military terms. But I guess you can buy a couple missiles with that, but that's nothing. But I don't think the whole thing is like they threw this missile thing in there. I didn't see that before, but my whole thing is the problem is that they are taking these jobs though. Oh, I'm tripping. My problem is that they're taking these jobs and just removing them from the market where Americans could be doing this work. So I don't even know how they're gonna fix this, because if they couldn't figure out how to stop them from getting these jobs before, that means they don't have the technology. These companies don't have the hiring technology to figure out how to stop them now. If the federal government doesn't step in to investigate, which I'm sure they got caught because somebody told on them. If the federal government had to step in and investigate just to find them, then there's probably way more companies that have these similar type of hackers, or not hackers, but thieves working at remote jobs, and nobody knows, or probably nobody will ever know. You understand? Especially if they're not part of some like foreign missile initiative. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that we even scratched the surface on, because you got to think about this. Like I said, I work in tech. In tech, you hear about all of these available jobs, and you hear about all of these high salaries, and you hear about it. But in these, especially in these black tech groups, there are so many black tech workers that cannot find a job in tech. Yes, there are some that are highly skilled that can just jump job to job. Those are the ones that you hear about that keep telling their story. But a lot of the people that don't tell their story to the public, they are struggling to find jobs. And they keep saying, hey, I went on 30 interviews, or I went to this one company and they made me do 6-7 rounds of interviews. Or I did this. I've been interviewing for 2 years. I've done over 500 interviews. And they tell their stories in these groups. And people keep telling them, oh, you just got to fix your resume, or, oh, you need to get better at interviewing. Like, that's not what it is, man. the thing is, these companies do not want to hire black Americans, or they don't want to hire black people in America. They want to hire these international cheap workers, and they don't care about all of these like little tactics. If it wasn't for the federal government, this wouldn't even have been news. If the federal government didn't charge the woman in Arizona, this wouldn't even have been news. You see what I'm saying? So, man, come on, man. Let's see. What did Casey say? What's going on? This is crazy. I was about to ask about the VPNs. Yeah, they're using the VPNs to disguise where they are. It's crazy, man. Like, it's sick. And listen, I don't really know there's a fix for it. I don't think there's a fix for it. The technology, the security technology is far beyond hiring, like the tech that they use in the hiring processes. You see what I'm saying? So unless the American government requires these recruiters and these hiring managers or these companies to use some type of VPN countering technology that can trace where these signals are coming from, and because they do have some advanced tools out there that will let you that you can tell that somebody's on a VPN. Those tools do exist, but I just know that recruiters they're not using them. You see what I'm saying? Because they're not the cheapest tools in the world. So, I think the federal government is going to have to step in with some regulation, not just wait for it to happen and then try to arrest people. Like, no, you got to be proactive. Preventative over correction. Prevention over correction, always. In all scenarios, prevention over correction. You have to stop it ahead of time by regulating the hiring process at minimum. And I just seen somebody having a conversation about this. At minimum, you need to require companies to have minimum security in their hiring. There should be a minimum standard.